Hi, Mike Kennedy with you, and we're going back to this little kit I got at Walmart for $30. This is their Machete. Okay, it's got this fabric case. It's got the rivets. It's got a nice belt loop. It has some slots here for putting some of the gear on here. One of them is closed at the bottom, which is good, and the other ones aren't. I could see you putting a ferrocerium rod in here or some other things. You know, they also sell magnesium rods too, so you can get a rather than getting the block that has the small ferrocerium rod kind of attached to it, you can buy both magnesium rods and ferrocerium rods. We might do that too to try. But this also has a lanyard hold. Okay, so we're dealing with the same thing here as far as their knife. It's a piece of stamped out metal. Okay, it's been tapered a little here, and they have the edge. And once again, this edge isn't terribly sharp. And they gave us a small, whetstone to sharpen things with, but I don't see how you could use that small a stone on something like this. And since the stone is really small too, I think you'd almost have to mount it on something, because you don't want things slipping around. You don't want to end up cutting yourself. It also has this saw here, and I don't know how useful that is. I've read that a lot of these saws actually are patented after or copied after, were actually made to cut in the old days aircraft metal. In other words, you were in a down plane, you could switch it and use this as a saw. But we can try using this as a saw, but you can see from me handling it, it's not particularly sharp, so it's going to be a lot of work. But why I have a little more hope for this is because it's heavier. So in other words, this actually could be a little more useful as a knife, than the knife is, because it's got some weight to it if we're going to do some chopping or cutting. So we have some branches in the yard here. We're just going to give it a try and see what happens. We're going to try the saw just for the fun of it. My goodness, it's working. Well, look at that. Of course, this is dry wood. And that cut really well. I'm impressed. That part of it gets a thumbs up. Now again, dry wood, but normally, now you can't, I was going to put my hand down there to guide it, but you can't do that. I suppose you could put your thumb here, but so you can see it does do this. I don't know if you were careful enough, you're probably going to make shavings with this rather than feather sticks. I always have to go on a side issue. We decided to watch some of the earlier loans the first season, and the thing that's interesting in the first show, of course these people get out there and they don't know what's up because they haven't watched the show and different things, but I was amazed with the number of people who couldn't start fires. And it appeared to me, okay, you have two things going against you, how wet it is where they were, but also it didn't appear that they really cut their things finely enough that they made either thin shavings, the feather type sticks, or with this I could make a lot of other smaller chips and things like that. This is probably a little too springy to use like this. Oh, that broke more than anything else. But, I mean, that's really light duty stuff. So anyway, my thought is here that we're going to take this and we're going to sharpen it somehow. Now, of course, we do have limitations because we're working with we're working with something fairly thin, but to me right now, the fact that the saw kind of works better than I thought it was, that gives me some hope that this could actually be something that you could use. And again, This is kind of large to carry around, but you have to check the laws in your state. Maine, where you can carry, it's funny now, you can't have a concealed knife, but you can have a concealed gun. But you could put this on your belt and wear it anywhere in our state, and it would be legal. I suppose not necessarily going into a store with it because you're on private property there, but I'm talking about when you're in public. But so this is kind of nice. I have some better hopes for this, that we can get the edge sharpened up a lot more, and we can put some things in here, and we might actually have something here. So far, I think this is the most impressive thing that I've gotten out of this $30 kit. And just that idea of having that saw, and of course you got to be careful because you're sawing and the blade is facing you, so you got to be really careful with things like this. So there you go. My first impression here of this is that this isn't half bad. And of course, I believe you can buy this separate from the entire kit. And I guess I'm thinking primarily of something that you would, like most people, maybe it would be in your car. You have a little car kit in case you're stranded somewhere, something like that. You could cut up small branches with this. You obviously could shave the wood down. You can notch wood with it. You can point sticks with it to drive it into the ground to make tripods and all kinds of different things. I think you could make a shelter with this. I'm not saying it would be as easy to do with a higher quality knife or something, but I think this is very capable. And you got to remember too, as they say in so many survival things, is the best survival knife is the knife you have with you. If you got a $300 knife at home, it's not going to help you. But if you have this in your car or on you when you're hiking, this is gonna be able to help you. So there we go. The Ozark Trail Machete, and it's available as part of a $30 kit, and I believe you can get it separate as well. And surprisingly, that saw worked as well as it did.